So apparently the letter E is worse than getting an F on a test. Taking place back from like the last episode where Ariana kind of failed Soma. You know, that old guy. I believe it was that old guy that made him change his grade so he can get into the school. And when Ariana, like, she was shocked when she saw Soma there, like, seeing that he got accepted, and she thought she got him out of the school for good. And from this, you know, she's like, you know, she's a tsundere, you know, she's always like, you know, the same, like, pish posh and that kind of stuff, and she's like, you know, being like negatively towards the character. And what's hilarious about this episode is when Soma, when he just like went on stage, and when they said like the new transfer that came into the school, he said like, "Well, I'm going to be #1 in y'all's class," and it made everyone just pissed off. And it's pretty shonen. It's pretty shonen. It kind of reminds me of that time when Naruto at the tuning exams, like, said to everyone, says, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm going to kick all your butts. Believe it." And it was just hilarious. It kind of reminded me of that from Naruto, if you guys would know that. And it was hilarious. I just got to say. And it also introduced a new character called Megumi. Now, Megumi, she had, like, a really bad grades in this school. Like, she had like a D, an F, an E, and apparently an E is worse than getting an F. The E stands for explosion, I believe. And if you get like an E, then you're kind of like on the edge. Like if you get like, I believe if you like get another one or something like that, you will get kicked out of school, or as in terms of school, expelled. And she's just like worried and stuff, like saying like, "Oh man, I don't want to be kicked out of school. Like I'm on the edge." I know that feeling, Megumi. I know that feeling, like when you're like, well, not being kicked out of school, but when you're like in class and you're like on the edge from like this grade to another grade, and then from another grade. You just gotta have a calm head about this, because if you start panicking and stuff, it's gonna make it worse for you. So you just gotta just be cool about it. So it just took Soma to like trying to like snap her out of this and kind of stuff. Like, you know, they had to like work on this group project together, since no one wanted to team up with Soma after what he said at the ceremony, to like make this like this type of like beef, this piece of beef, you know. And they have to like impress this teacher that like just never smiles. And during this episode, like a bunch of other people in this story, like some fodders, just like basically just like sabotage this dish during that. Now, note for when you're cooking, you always keep your eye on the food. Take it for example, life experience #1. When I cooked some eggs, like I believe it was like a couple of months ago, I went away somewhere and the eggs like burnt, and it really pissed off my mom. And so you always keep your eyes on the food, and don't let no one see it or sabotage your food, because if you're gone, and someone can just honestly just like sabotage it and just make it terrible. So basically what they did is like they poured salt on it. But Soma had a backup plan on this, like, you know, with the marination on the beef, she basically used a substitute for honey. And we had another foodgasm with actually with Megumi and the teacher. Basically, the foodgasm was just like them just naked, and then they're like a bunch of little Somas, like what you saw from Ariana's foodgasm, comes around and is pouring honey on them, and it was it was hilarious. It was hilarious. If I had to give a rating on the foodgasms, I kind of like the first episode one, because that was more hilarious. But there's more to come in the future, from what I've been reading the manga. So the teacher finally smiled, and then he gave both Megumi and Soma an A, and he wished he gave him a grade higher than that. So it kind of symbolizes that, you know. As for the fodders, they got E from their dish because they weren't watching, and they I believe they overcooked it, and they accidentally spilled some salt on it, and so they got an E on that. So that serves them right. So overall, I gotta give this episode a 9 out of 10. It was pretty good episode of Food Wars. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out, you guys.